This man received a college admission paper. Yet he has used it to wrap breads, and threw it into the fire. But in the end, he established the education for the whole country. He is Anand, from the slums of India. He won first place in a regional competition. He didn't mind the long distance, but went to the library to study. But he was kicked out by the library manager. With efforts, Anand solved an equation that no one else could do. In a foreign math journal, the father used up the retiring money to send the answer abroad. One day, the father rushed home, bring back the Cambridge University's acceptance letter. The joy didn't last long. The biggest problem had come. Their family was so poor that even the toll couldn't been paid. Not to mention the huge tuition fees. The father wanted to earn money to help Anand pursue his dream. But because of working too hard, he fell sick. On the way to the hospital, he unfortunately passed away. Anand had to bear the burden of supporting the family. He tore all the books to make a bag for the bread, including Cambridge University notices. Every day he worked days and nights. One day, while going to work, Anand had a car accident. The owner of the car is Lalan, who was the richest person in this area. He recognized Anand and wanted to invite him home. Then he invited him to be a teacher of the center with a high salary. The students here all went to school in different ways. Some used sticks to hook into cars, and then went ahead. Some sat on a pot, just drifting across the river. All of their purposes just want to come and learn from Anand. Although outside Anand is just a poor boy, at the center he was a famous teacher. Anand's life as a teacher was also getting better and better. But when Anand looked at this student asking him to teach, he seemed to see the image of him when he was young. In the evening, when he returned home in the car, he heard the story of the driver's sons desiring to go to school. Anand remembered what he encountered in the past. Because the family was too poor, they had to give up studying at Cambridge. Now, he decided to open the class for free, to change the fate of all those who are eager to learn. Anand took out all the accumulated money to rent a house, sold all the assets in the house to print the student report card. Anand's resignation affected Lalan again. Students' parents came to criticize him. He had to call and threaten Anand and the students. The students were afraid to sleep. But Anand said, "Do you have anything to lose?" He finally woke up the students. The students were all actively learning according to Anand's method. This way of thinking was like being renewed. But Lalan did not leave them alone. He sent someone to cut off the power. The students used their knowledge of physics to create light. Lalan hired someone to scold Anand's moral qualities. Unexpectedly, Anand was standing in front of her without her noticing. The most difficult thing is that the food is about to run out. He decided to play a match against Lalan. If Anand loses, he would have to close his class. Lalan knew he couldn't win, so he let someone kill Anand. They arrested Anand and dragged him to the side of the train track. At this time, the train passed by, Anand desperately struggled. At the crucial moment, the younger brother came to save his life. Turns out, Anand's opening of a free training class offended the nobility. He must help his students overcome the final obstacle, making those students shine brightly. At first, his students were all very shy, being criticized and laughed at by others. Gradually they gained the courage to overcome their fear, performing a unique performance on stage. Anand smiled. He had helped his students overcome their fear. Before the exam, Anand got an accident. His students rushed to the hospital. They knew that a battle is about to happen. At midnight, the gangsters came to kill them. The students had already set up the traps just waiting for them to arrive. First, they used fire tires to attract their fire. Then lured the enemy to the warehouse, and released poisoned gas. Then they used their physics knowledge so that they couldn't get out. These students used the knowledge they were taught to protect Anand. The next day, everyone took the exam in a tired state. On the day of the achievement announcement, everyone rushed to see Anand, who was also just discharged from the hospital, also tried to come and see. His brother said, 30 students all passed the exam without nobody. At this moment, Anand was even more emotional than when he passed the Cambridge exam. The students cheered around the teacher. Since then, Anand has continued to teach poor children, letting them touch his unfinished dream.